Hello, everyone. ¿Cómo está mi gente? It is great to see you all here. Thank you so much for joining us at our December PC Power Hour. We know that it is the end of the semester, the end of the year, and that it's a busy time for everyone. Many have already left for their holiday vacations, and so we greatly appreciate that you guys are all here to go through this process with us today. Thank you so much. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about government aid and the payment processes. Because it is the end of the semester and we know that that is a lot going on, we will try to keep this session pretty short so that hopefully we can give you back some time in your day. Um, We'll be talking about the EVR process, the FAFSA that rollout that is coming up next semester, and state aid. But we really wanted to use this session as a true open forum. We really want to get feedback from you all regarding how these processes have either gone so far or what pitfalls we could expect for the new FAFSA rollout next semester. So hopefully there are some financial aid advisor folks on the call with us today so that we can get your insights on the process and hopefully get some information regarding that. And as we navigate through all of this today, there will be some holiday giveaways to make it a little bit more fun and hopefully not make the process so painful for you, because we know that everybody hates to talk about FAFSA and state aid. So we wanted to add a little bit of flavor to it so that hopefully this is not so painful. Going through the agenda. My colleague Hayne has already put in a link to a Google form. So as I mentioned, we do want this to be an open forum. We do want to hear from you. So hopefully at these points of conversation, you guys feel comfortable unmuting yourselves, giving us your feedback and some of the details regarding the current processes so that we can engage in a discourse and dialogue regarding how we can better improve this or what to expect. Uh, but we also would love for you to use the Google Doc in order to let us document your information so that we know how to better prepare ourselves in support of you going through the process and really sort of understanding what are some of the concerns and things that we need to be thinking about as we go into 2024. So my slides will actually mirror a lot of what is already on the Google Drive. So if you guys want to click on the Google link, again, it is already in the Zoom chat and you can sort of open that up and go through it as we go through the slides. That would be great. But again, we will be, asking those folks who feel comfortable to also share in the dialogue so that we can also talk through some of these processes. So the first thing we are going to talk about is we do have our main giveaway, which is a free registration for the 2024 Success Convening. In order to sign up for that, you will be able to use, again, the Google Drive link. We will also be talking about the fall payments and stipends for this semester and doing a little bit of a follow-up and wrap-up on that. The next item on the agenda will be the FAFSA rollout that is coming up for next semester. While our students still can't apply for FAFSA, we wanted to sort of talk a little bit about the process and see what impacts that could have on the way we administer our scholarship and payments for scholars. We also want to talk about state aid, and we've been having some ad hoc conversations already with some of our PCs regarding their own experiences in establishing state aid and having students apply for state aid on their campuses. So we want to, again, open the floor up to be able to have this conversation with the group. And then finally, we will do a holiday giveaway. So we're going to be giving out 3 $25 gift cards. And in order to win the gift card, all you need to do is complete the Google form. For those campuses that don't have state aid, you can put not available for that column, but you need to fill out the rest of the form. And then once you have done that, we will be selecting 3 winners to get $25 gift cards each. Diving in. Okay, so for that first column, I believe it starts on column C. Again, you can use the link that was been provided in the chat to look at that in real time. Um, you can list that you want to be considered for the giveaway for the registration. The registration that we are giving away is will cover up to 3 of your staff members and 1 Dream.Us scholar on your campus. So you don't have to have all 3 members of your campus that want to attend. If you are the only one that wants to attend the conference, you can still register for the giveaway and just click yes on that first column so that you can be considered for this giveaway. As I mentioned before, the giveaway only includes the registration fee. For 3 staff members and one scholar, that is a total value cost of $900, as you can see on the side. But any variation of that, if you have 1 or 2 or 3 staff who want to attend in addition to the scholar, we will be able to cover that cost if you do win the giveaway. As I mentioned before, the giveaway only covers the registration fee. So staff and will have to cover their own flights and hotels, and of course any other cost that comes with their conference travel. But for the scholars, we will have our conference grant also available next semester. So they will be able to apply through the grant to get their additional flights and hotels covered. So all of the major expenses for attending the conference for the student will be covered. So again, if you're interested, again, open up that Google Sheet, go on to find your campus, and on that first column, just click yes so that you can be considered for this giveaway. The winners will be announced in tomorrow's PC Weekly. So make sure that you open that up next tomorrow and check out to see who won. So the next columns that are coming up are going to be in regards to this semester's fall EVR process. And so we wanted to collect some information from you all. We know that this was a little bit of a bumpy semester in terms of the EVR process. So we want to be able to collect some information and some feedback from you all. So please, you can list whether you have already received your EVR payments from ISTS on that column as well. You can click yes or no just to let us know and have that on record for us for further follow-up. But if anyone has not received their EVRs payments from ISTS, do and you feel comfortable, please feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourselves and let us know so that we are aware and we can talk through some of that process. So I'll give it a minute for that prompt. And again, please, you can use the chat. You can unmute yourself. Just let us know whatever way you feel most comfortable if you have not received your EVR payments from ISTS for this semester. So I do see Colantes Woods has a raised hand.
Yes.
Yes. So you
okay.
have.
I received the money. The problem I have it is later I got EVR sending the money, 4,000. When they send the money, they don't put who a student is. We were asking back and forth for almost a month. Who is that money? Because we think it's for a specific person, but we cannot give them if they don't give us a name. And this has been, even business office has been very frustrated because the semester is almost ending and I don't get any answer.
Okay. So I do know that for this, this cycle and the one prior to this, Elena did change the process a little bit in terms of the way our PCs are receiving the list of students with that breakdown in terms of what funds go to which student. And if I'm not mistaken, in your ISTS portal, you were sort of advised to go there and find that list of names. So are you saying that you went to the portal and you couldn't find your list?
Yeah, no, my list, I know. I already, the list I have it through my EVR got paid. Later, a month ago, we got money. 4,400, but no name, because they don't put a name to who is supposed to go. Entonces, I've been asking how I can find into this, or for who, because we think it's for a specific student, because he's one half depending. We have the name and we emailing even the name to us. Please tell us if this is the right student, because we cannot disperse without some kind of confirmation. And there's been several emails.
Got it. So this was not the bulk wire
No.
transfer that was sent for all the students. This was an additional.
Yes, that additional came and they got, thank you, we got money, but for who?
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
We think it's for somebody who's claiming he was made, that is something I put in the comment. Students, they're coming or they're transferred, and they don't reach out to the liaison until they found that they have a hole in the system. And we don't even know they were here, as the name is not added, and the money coming later. I think it's something we really need to emphasize to the students. You transfer or you coming, you must to contact your liaison. If you don't do that, you put in risks that your payment is gonna be delayed or may not come. I think if we're talking about money in that conversation, they be taking more serious that, because I feel for the student, but how we don't know the students and a whole 3 months, previous 4 months, and it is extremely important. That part also will help us very much.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's super helpful. If you could also add that to the Google Sheet, because we will be taking all of that information in.
Yes, I'm putting that.
Gracias, gracias. Any other comments, concerns, feedback? Like, this is all welcome. This is all great information. This is how we build on our processes and really streamline how we make this more effective for you all and for the scholars.
Hi, Chris. So we at City College experienced something similar. It was for a prior semester that we received money for. We normally get an email from ISTS stating like, this is how much you're getting, this is for the semester. Then we can go in, check the finalized EVR, figure out who it's for. The case that we're working on right now, it looks like it's a duplicate payment. We received a wire for the same exact amount of money, and I've been going back and forth with ISTS for a little over a week now, and nobody seems to know who the money belongs to or if it is in fact a duplicate payment.
Got it. Thank you so much, Devin.
Thank you.
And for these payments, and hey, please jump in if I'm incorrect. I think it'll also help if you CC Elena and Camila on those responses with ISTS, because they are also in the middle of all of those processes and are able to sort of troubleshoot a lot of those areas and going through the
They are all in my
helping
emails. They being in all my emails. Elena,
Perfect.
Camila, and Hien. Always. I never send an email to ISTS alone. So there's 4 people I always put.
Gracias. Gracias, Gabriela. Any others? Oh, no, that's how we do it. Trust me, this is how we learn.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Any others? Jesus, I see you wrote something in the chat. It would be great to get the stipends sent in the beginning of the semester to put scholars with their initial cost of attending college, books, transportations, and food. Yes. I think one of the issues with that, Jesus, because I know that we have been working through some of that, and I know that there was a semester where I was able to do that as well, is really, we don't send the stipends unless we can confirm the student's enrollment stage, right? And so at that point, where we can get that information, it sort of just makes sense to send everything all together, rather than sending the stipend automatically and then finding out that the student was not enrolled. But we can think about that and work through some of those stipend processes as well.
Chris, it would be really great if we can coordinate, we can check by the second week of the semester who's actually in classes, and we can send that information because they come in, especially the first semester students, they really don't understand how it's going to work. So they're relying on the stipend for the initial cost, whether it be Metro cards or whether it be book vouchers or whatever they want to get. And when we tell them it's not going to come until October, November, you could see their expressions and saying, oh, I can't buy books, or I'm not going to be able to come to classes. So in that case, it really breaks my heart. And I've started conversations with the Brooklyn College Foundation, but they want to know that they're going to get their funding and how it's going to be channeled eventually, because I would wish for the money to be given up front, because we know that we're going to get the funding later.
Chris, and a way is as because also it's like I'm working in advisement and registrations. After we submit the registrar the grades as after the second week, when the faculty put the grades, even if the student drop, they don't get in WN. After the WNs, it's the second week, even they register and they drop, the scholarship paying for that. In that case, if they drop one class or two, but they staying for one, or something happened and they need to drop everything, is still is their money they've been using. You know what I mean? If we do it after the WN, because it will drop for non-attendance, makes a lot of sense to disperse the stipend, and that way they can continue to go to school. And after in November, like always, October and November, we can pay for the classes. School don't bother them because they know the money is coming. There's a group they know never bother them. They like them because the money is gonna come. But it's very sad, like Jesus said, you getting your stipend as a Christmas present, and they start in August. You know what I mean? That's exactly what I told them, because I don't want it. We need to figure out. I said, it's like a please put together, and every semester for the next, please save it, because every year is being the same. But after WN, I don't see any reason why you consider if they're registered or not, because whatever he's not registered has been dropped by that point. The rest, they are registered. There's no reason for at the end of September. The money can be disbursed perfectly at the end of September because WN is already in place.
Yeah. And I see that Cynthia also put in the chat that she is working with Hain to figure out if we can work an earlier EVR process to hopefully distribute those stipends earlier to students as well. So thank you so much for including that, Cynthia, in the chat.
Chris, can I just add one thing really quick? Because there are a lot of great comments and feedback in the chat. If you issues with getting the payment late, could you please put those in the spreadsheet, because we are taking your feedback very, very seriously. We know this is an ongoing issue with the turnaround time from submitting EVRs to getting the payments wired. So we'd really appreciate it. It's one of the reasons why we're asking you all to fill out that spreadsheet. If you could put some of these comments by your college in the actual Google spreadsheet, this would just be really helpful for us to review after this session.
Thank you so much for Hain. I was going to point that out, and you, like always, just read my mind. That's because Hain's so awesome.
I'm going to chime in real quick on this as well. Maureen Morgan from Portland State University. We just got our payments literally yesterday, December 18th. The term is already over. We had been working through ISTS and having actual the Dream representatives along on those threads since November to get the funds. I'm looking at this one email thread, and it's got 53 messages trying to get this straightened. So I think there's just some general obstacles with the email agent. I know out of those 53, some of them we would get multiple times. It was hard figuring out who the right ones, things, the answers we were getting from ISTS about, hey, they sent the money, but our business office folks couldn't hone in with them on like getting actual account confirmation because the school never received it. So there's just some basic communications that seem to be really a hurdle for us to get those funds, to figure out where the problem was. because even once we had the dedicated folks involved in that thread, people weren't like the Dream and ISTS weren't sharing the actual information to solve the problems, just kind of more a general like, well, we sent it and we're washing our hands of it. It must be you. And it wasn't us. So just, it was a really frustrating thing, very hard for our scholars. And we submitted everything prior to those deadlines. We're also a quarter-based school. So our terms are a little truncated and shorter. So that October deadline is actually tight for us because our school term doesn't start until the very end of September. So some of that just gets real tricky.
Thank you so much for that, Maureen. That's super, super helpful, and we can talk about that. We do know that there were a couple of minor incidences, or I should say fewer incidences, where those payments were delayed, and we are sort of addressing that with ISTS and sort of figuring that out and sort of figuring out where the bottleneck was for that, and how we can improve that process so that there is more clarity and more transparency for the PCs when those transfers go out. So thank you so much. I love this. You guys are keeping it real right now. And I love it. Like, we need this because that's the only way that we're going to be able to address the issues. I know that Hayne continues to put the link into the chat. So if you missed it at the beginning, we are asking for your feedback regarding the fall EVR payment process at this time. And we're going to continue to ask about other things. But you can click on the link that is in the chat. And right now we are talking about fall EVR payments. If you had any issues or concerns regarding this process, please let us know through that Google form so that we can have that information and could review our processes for as we go into 2024.
So Chris, really quick, because I think it's important to acknowledge a couple of things here. One, we hear you and we deeply understand the pain that this causes you and our scholars. Our scholars reach out to us consistently as well on the Facebook group. Please bear with us. One thing we do have to acknowledge on our end as well as we did, as you all know, a record number of awards this year, 1,800 new students. We added 17 new partner colleges in this last round, and we are going through our own growing pains of managing a program that's scaling. You know, we have 4,500 students across the country, and this feedback is really, really important for us, as Chris mentioned, to identify these bottlenecks, but we also just really want to acknowledge that this has been tough for our partner colleges and for us, and so this session is really for us to hear this feedback. So please, we welcome this and just want to emphasize again, if you have a minute, please add your notes to that Google spreadsheet.
Thank you so much for that, Hayne. Gabriela.
Yeah, no, I'm going to make it crazy today. If I can add something else, if any way that the students who also receive a Dream Act tab, let us know in advance. Because there's no way I have access to override and change everything, and I don't have access to finances because it's being very blocked for CUNY. You know, I don't know when they come in, they say, okay, I'm a Dream.Us scholars, but they don't release all the packet. I don't think they don't understand the connection, because if I know in advance, I will first wait for the Dream Act tab come through. I mean, having a couple of students that took me. We were in the process to put the money back, and we don't know for who is the money back, or the tab or the scholarship. And my goal is the scholarship. And it's to avoid that situation that the money, the first priority is Dream Act tab. They can use it. Is any way that when you send us the report, because I don't know you have access, or maybe students have a section to add it, that we know, because we all different access. CUNY is now more than ever, no matter what your position, you have certain access, you know, certain things based in the job you do, you can see another. In no way, only business office can see all the financial aid office. And sometimes they get confused also with that. But it will be very helpful if we, as a group, figure out how we dealing with these double payments. Because I want the students using the tab first, not the scholarship.
Yeah. I'll take first shot at that question. And so unfortunately, we do not have access to that information. Um, when I was at Hunter, the best source that I would get was really just working with my financial aid office and my bursar's office, who did have access to that information. And so I would actually work with them in submitting the EVR and having them list whether the student had TAP, and then I would sort of fill in the rest of the information before I sent it off to TheDream.Us. It's just another question of access. That's something that we don't have access to. We cannot work with sort of all of the individual states and collecting that those TAP awards um, from these sort of different state governments that issue those awards. So I would really suggest really just working with those offices at your campuses that have access to that information, because those payments actually do go out to the colleges. They would be able to get access to that information and be able to include that in part of your EVR process.
That's a great idea. I didn't, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. It's good
Yeah,
just to have a second thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. It's just, again, we just don't have access to that, and there's no way for us to require the state government to provide us those awards. So it really just comes down to the individual campuses that actually receive them. Any other questions, concerns, feedback? This is all amazing. Again, I just want to reiterate, please put your comments and your concerns and your feedback on the Excel form. But we also want to be able to talk this through a bit. All right, it seems like conversation here has died down, so I'm going to move on to the next piece. Okay, so as mentioned, our scholars actually still do not qualify for FAFSA. We all know this, but there is a new FAFSA application and process that is set to go into effect spring of 2024. And so us just sort of seeing this, we know that when these things get rolled out, there are always complications, and they're sort of like more pressing the bandwidth of our financial aid offices and our offices that manage that, who are simultaneously also managing the process for our EVRs and for our scholarship. So if we have any financial aid people on the call, would love to hear from you in terms of, are there any concerns or any implications that you sort of anticipate the FAFSA rollout next semester may have on our own EVR process or processing payments for scholars in the spring? Again, you could raise your hand if you want to share some information. If you can add your information, if you have something, but you don't want to sort of have a dialogue really about it, but you want to put it into the sheet, please feel free to just use the Google Sheet for that column and let us know your thoughts. Again, I think for us is really sort of a question about the stress on the bandwidth of our financial aid offices and our staff who are completing the EVR processes at their campuses, and ensuring that there may not be a latent function where that could also complicate us processing EVRs on our end. All right, I will skip to the next slide. So state aid, we roughly have, roughly speaking, about 64 PCs that are within states that provide state aid. Those are some of them that are listed right here. And as I mentioned earlier, we have had ad hoc conversations with some of our PCs in these states regarding the state aid process, the experiences of our scholars and of staff helping students go through the process of applying for state aid. And so again, there are columns listed on the Google Sheet for you to put your feedback on state aid and what those difficulties might be. But again, just opening up the conversation here. If you are in a state that provides state aid for our scholars, Have you experienced difficulties with scholars wanting to apply for state aid? Are they nervous? Are they giving some sort of pushback or resistance on submitting those state aids for whatever reason? Like, what are you hearing from scholars who may not be going through the application process, and why they're not going through that process? Or have you had experiences with difficulties where the scholar does want to apply, but the process is just complicated and convoluted and causes issues? I'll stop right there because I do see Sandy already has her hand up. Sandy, talk to me.
Hi there. One of the things that we've run into is the students don't know how to fill out the form. And oftentimes people will say, just go ahead and fill it out by yourself. When in fact, we have a really great, it's called ISAC here, the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, and they actually oversee our state aid form, the alternative FAFSA. And each student has someone assigned to them that they could actually meet with and talk to, and they could help them through the process. But it's a matter of making sure they understand that process. We also work with our financial aid office and our scholarship office hand in hand at our institution, where we actually have our students sign or send an email that says they give myself and Angelica from the Undocumented Resource Center permission to advocate on their behalf. That email helps us get past the FERPA piece, where we can then become advocates for them in any type of holdup on their application. We connect with our financial aid or our financial wellness office, and they tell us we need this, this, and this. And then we can go back and follow up with our students, because it is a bit overwhelming and they get that analysis paralysis where they're like, okay, I can't do anything. And we found that it's not just a matter of saying, hey, there's state aid, go for it. It's a matter of like, these are the steps. And then after they've done it once or twice, we don't really see those students at our institution again because they know how to do it. We're going to run into this issue now with the changes with the alternative FAFSA and the FAFSA, with the identity piece, and reassuring our students and our families the IRS just wants your money. They don't want to know about your status, right? So just trying to reassure them that we can help them along. So that's how we're doing it, but definitely have seen a lot of fear and uncertainty, and then it freezes them and they don't move forward. So what are we doing to come back around and give them a gentle tap to say, hey, where can we help you? What can we get, to get to the end of this process? That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Sandy. I do see some other hands. So Albert.
Hey guys. So I've noticed that there are some students who because there's no bottleneck, there's no deadline at the beginning of the year, like anyone can apply for financial aid at any time. The deadline actually says June 30th of 2024. So a student can apply at any time. If there was some sort of internal bottleneck to determine if students have completed their state aid, I think that might help us get students to complete things in a timely manner. Because I still have students in the middle of a semester going, well, I applied for it, I never got it back. Okay, so what happened? You go to ISTS and it's like, oh, there was a document you were supposed to submit, you didn't submit it. Or maybe there was a self-identifying characteristic that you had to give and you self-identified yourself as the wrong immigration category. There could be like all these other things that you could do that would disqualify you. So, if we had like an internal, like the same way how we have like a commitment deadline or a renewal deadline, if there's something maybe, due in August that's like, oh, did you finish your, state aid? Did you finish your DREAM Act, application or whatever, just to check it off? And that's required of all students. I think that might help us get a more complete photo, because at the end of the day, the students are like, what's the big deal if I do it and I don't do it? Am I missing out on like $3,000 worth of financial aid? No, I'm still going to get tuition paid off. I'm still going to get my stipend. If I apply for it or don't apply for it, if I did it correctly or didn't do it correctly, like it's not such a big deal. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a big deal. I'm just pretending like I'm a student. But do you understand? Like, there's no carrot for them to finish it, right? I'm not saying that there should be a carrot, but for them, it's kind of like, yeah, but I still got my tuition paid for this semester, so why am I freaking out about this?
Yeah.
Now,
100%.
if they found out that, oh, my scholarship, I won't receive my scholarship if I can't prove that I completed this process, I mean, that might also lower the amount of students who can register and get ready to go to school. But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah. So a couple of things there. So one is, CUNY is very sort of special in that just with our scholarship, their tuition usually is covered, right, for the semester. I think many of our colleges across the country don't have that same sort of impact where the students, if the students are not completing their state aid applications, then there is a sort of a much bigger tuition gap, which we are in turn asking our partner colleges to sort of make sure that they clear so that nothing comes out of the student's pocket. So we understand that. We've had these conversations with our partner colleges. We are aware of that, and which is, again, part of the process as why we're collecting this information and really wanting to be more helpful in sort of figuring out how to assure that more of our scholars are applying for this state aid and relieving some of that stress from our partner colleges' plate. I don't want to go ahead into a sort of like stick or carrot perspective where we would sort of penalize students for not submitting their state aid on a timely fashion, but we will continue to have these conversations and sort of really figure that out. Thank you so much, Albert. Ryan, I wanted to get to your feedback as well.
So, admittedly, I think Albert hit a lot of the large points that I wanted to mention. There is kind of an impression I've gotten from when I've worked with students, though, that they almost feel like they're being penalized for applying for state aid because at the end of the day, they feel like they're still getting the same 41.25 or whatever the exact amount is that Dream.Us is giving. And it's just being reduced out of their Dream.Us award. And they have this impression that the Dream.Us is something that they've earned. And they just feel sometimes almost like a little bit cheated that, well, I've applied for this need-based aid and it's taking away from my own opportunities there. And that's kind of always the impression that I've gotten when I've been working with our Dream.Us population. And it's been an impression that's been kind of hard to get over on my end here.
Thank you so much, Ryan. And so just as a point of clarification, we actually do not reduce our scholarship by state aid.
No, Chris, we do.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yep.
I caught myself in mid-sentence. I'm sorry. We don't reduce our scholarship from other aids, but we do it for state aid because we are also liable for not only the internal aids, state aids, but also the cost of attendance for the student, and our awards cannot go beyond that. So I kind of understand what you're saying, and so we probably need to be better at the language that we are providing to students to, again, sort of just further encourage them to submit these applications and sort of advise them that this really does go a long way into helping our partner colleges make sure that their tuition is covered and providing more scholarships for students. Gabriela.
Can you please, this is clarify for me what you just said, because in my mind, I've been telling them, you apply for the state, you using that money, and you have the other money you keep on using for or the rest of your career, because the state aid can give you 1 year sequence and not the next year sequence. The part I was missing is the comment you just made it with him means if a student receive a whole year money, that money will reduce from his $39,000 scholarship. Is less money for the student in the scholarship, or it maintain the same, but he can use them for maybe even a master program. Please, can you clarify that situation? Because now I need to have much of change my language, how to talk to them.
Definitely, not a problem. So we do require students to apply for state aid in those states where it is available. State aid does reduce the amount of award we give in any particular semester. So just to clarify, just using general numbers to make it easy, if the student's tuition is $3,000 and they receive $2,000 in state aid, they could only receive up to that additional $1,000 from our scholarship to sort of, again, bridge that gap. We will not give them the full 3,000 amount that we would normally give the student because state aid is deducted from that amount.
But they don't lose the money.
They don't lose the money in the terms that it remains in their scholarship.
Oh, okay. That is
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
That is the
But-
language I've been using.
But I want to just clarify because I heard something else that you mentioned in terms of they could use it for a master's program. Our scholarship is specifically for
For the
undergrad.
bachelor. Okay.
Exactly. So once they have graduated, that pot of money, whatever they have left over, basically goes back to the general Dream.Us to provide additional scholarships to other students.
If
So
they
they're
have money over, can they use it for increase in their bachelor, maybe at a minor, or definitely 120 credits is done?
120 credits is, well, I hate to use the 120 credits because we
Well, no,
know
it's figurative. It's like
yeah, it's rough. You know, students always graduate with 120, 123,
Mhm.
124, depending on what specific credits they're taking. But we do not, you know, once the student is at the point of graduation, we do tell them that they need to file for graduation. We don't allow them to continue to receive scholarship funding for like prerequisite courses or additional minors and majors, minors or certificate programs or such.
well, I see somebody to put it like that's a great idea. I mean, they can use it for summer and winter that is cost more money. Okay, means some majors that they means students, for example, in the city tech biomedical informatics that they end up having almost close to 180 credits because the amount of the credits is class. Having a state aid for them will be significant important because with that way they will end the whole career without even in short period of time and not owe any money. Means today I'm learning another way to promote state aid. Thank you. Okay, now I understand. I'm clear.
Gracias. Okay, so in the interest of time, again, please use the Google form that Hayne has linked in the chat to provide all of your feedback, all of your concerns. We will be reviewing that and again, sort of implementing it into our processes and updating you on how we move forward. But to move forward, okay. So for next month, you know, I am sick of 2023. I don't know how many of you are as well. So looking into 2024, our PC Power Hour will be on January 30th, same time, same place. And we will be really sort of outlining and giving you all of those key dates and deadlines for the entire spring 2024 semester. So we'll, you know, be giving you an overview of all the supports and programming that we are going to be laying out this semester. And so really important for you guys to all be there so that you can really know exactly what resources and what programs and everything else that is going to be outlined for not only our partner college supports, but our scholar supports as well. So hopefully you all can join us for that session and receive all of this updated information and know how to proceed with the rest of the semester. I also wanted to, as noted in Haynes' comment, if you could please complete those questions in the Google form by the end of today, as we will be closing that out at the end of the day in order to identify our holiday giveaway winners. Just to recap that I saw a couple of people who might have come in later on in the session. We are doing a giveaway for the Success Convening Conference for up to 3 of your staff and 1 scholar student. So if you want to be entered for that, please click yes on that Google form. And for all of these other questions regarding the EVR process, state aid, finance, FAFSA concerns, please fill that in so that you can be also entered in our separate giveaway for the $25 gift cards. All winners will be announced tomorrow in the PC Weekly, so you can stay tuned for that as well. Hayden, if you could please send a link one more time in the chat, as we have someone who's requesting that again. And finally, we just want to say thank you to each and every one of you, our partner colleges, our partner college staff. We realize that we could not do what we do if it were not for you doing the day-to-day groundwork, really navigating, helping our scholars navigate their college process, state aid, right? All of these different things and all of these like tremendous journeys that they are going through. I again was a scholar advisor and know the impact that you all have on our scholars on the day-to-day and just navigating the process. So I know from us at TheDream.Us, from our leadership, from our staff, from our students across the board, we really want to just emphasize that you are much appreciated. We hear you, we see you, we're here to support you. I have my meetings with Kane every week, my one-on-ones, and she's always on me like, Chris, what are we doing to support our partner colleges? Because this is a true partnership and we need to make sure that we are all working together in order to properly support our scholars. So from all of our scholars from across the country, I've said thank you here in a bunch of different ways. Gracias, thank you, merci, everything. To really just express our appreciation for you and for the work that you do. We know that this is not easy work. We know that this is taxing work and that sometimes you all take it home with you. And so again, we appreciate you and value you and really want to wish you all the best in doing this work and continuing our partnership and everything else for the 2024 year coming up. We are here for you, so always feel free to reach out to us for whatever you need as well. And I think with that, we can close out and hopefully provide you a little time back in your day. Happy holidays, everyone. And again, please complete out the spreadsheet form, and we will be making those announcements in the PC Weekly tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that.
Thank you.